no mystery, right? We're in the midst of extraordinary change, and where there's change, there's usually chaos. So the question that I would pose first, the topic that I'd like to really get into is, in the midst of this great change, is the future of workplace really dependent upon technology? And I'm seeing that in a lot of different places, in a lot of different areas, that technology is going to be the pivotal thing that's going to help us move forward and be able to open up our offices. So I would pose that as a question for everyone, but I think I'd like to start with Chris. Chris, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, thanks, James. My initial thought is that yes, technology is very tied into what's going to need to be done in the shorter term to try to minimize risk and reopen workplaces. People feel healthy and comfortable. But I think really one of the interesting side effects of the situation here is it tends to shed a glaring light on longer term opportunities as well. And some of the measures that you might put in to deal with the short-term applications like contact tracing and very flexible scheduling of work really have positive side benefits over the long term in terms of work-life balance and allocation of space and many other things, even safety and security. So I do think that things are very technologically related, but you can't omit culture, the particular type of business, the particular types of jobs, and all the other ingredients of the picture.
Yeah, that's excellent. Matt, let me sort of ask you, is there a conversation change that's taking place in the corporate real estate world from the conversations that you're having? Is it really chaotic? Are they changing the type of things that they're talking about?
I think it's definitely on everybody's tongue right now, and it's interesting to watch the spectrum of responses of things are going to get back to the way they always were to I'll never come to the office building again. Most people are in the middle. I think to Chris's point, I think it's always going to be a mix of technology and then just relational common sense. You don't necessarily have to have a robust scheduling app to kind of stagger people's work scheduling, but it helps. And so I think the thing to be careful of if you're a technologist like I am is being a hammer and everything looks like a nail, right? Technology solves all our problems. And I think Chris is kind of onto it, that technology is a big part of it, but there are also some more softer relational landlord-tenant, just basics that I think can be accreted as well.
Ed, what are you seeing out there? Any significant impacts, chaos?
Yeah, and actually, Chris and Matt bring up very valid and true points. I think one thing to consider is that, it's kind of, I can almost divide it into like two buckets or two phases. Right now, everyone is focusing on how to reactivate the office, how to get people back into space that feel that they have confidence in the workspace and they feel safe. And a lot of those guidances that are being pushed out by the CDC or others or best practices are manpower intensive. And that's a cost to any asset and property group as it is. And so I think the second phase of that will be, driven more by technology and how to optimize all of this for the foreseeable future. Because one thing none of us really know is what's the duration. It could be 6 months to 5 years. We don't know. And I think that's going to drive the back end of this of once, things are slowly reopening, like here in Chicago, we just started this week on reopening some businesses. How is that going to look in the long term?
Yeah, really. To that end, what is it going to look like long term or even midterm? One of the things that I was recently had the enjoyment of doing actually was some work with Aruba on their ATM conference, their Airheads conference. And one of the slides that I picked up on, the pieces of information that I picked up on, was during a launch of a new solution set for the Intelligent Edge. And this was the graphic that was shown, and it really meant from a networking perspective. So connect the people, protect the access to the network, analyze through artificial intelligence, and then be able to act on that to optimize the network. But I thought, wow, that's exactly what we're talking about from a corporate real estate perspective.